everybody, it's Jeffrey, and today I just wanted to pop on and talk about gaming a little bit. I don't get serious very much on my videos, so I thought it would be kind of interesting to do a little talk about my video game hobby, some of the systems I have, stuff like that. So, I guess the way to start would be how I got into video game playing. When I was a child, way back, because I was around to see the beginning of gaming, not like a lot of you youngsters now. So I was there for the original Pong when that came out. And my mother loved shopping at Goodwill. She would go to Goodwill every day. And so she would go there and find these used Pong machines. And so she would always buy them. Oh, it's $3, it's $5, it's $2. And I had a couple of them. And I remember being a kid and seeing Pong on TV for the first time. And it's like you're turning the knob and it's like, wow, I'm actually controlling something on the TV itself. That's amazing. And it was very revolutionary. It was a new thing. Nobody had seen anything like it before. And it's like, wow, this is great. And then a couple of years later, the Atari 2600 came out. And it's like, holy smokes, because I was playing Donkey Kong and all sorts of stuff. And it's like, how can it get any better than this? I remember thinking. And it's like, if I could look a few good years into the future, considering what we have now to what we had then. I had a buddy in high school whose mother spoiled him to death. And anything this kid wanted, he would whine and she would buy it because she felt guilty about her divorce from her husband. And So he whined for the 2600 Atari, for the 5200 Atari, for the 7800 Atari, ColecoVision, Intellivision, all that stuff. And he got all of it. Everything, the Intellivision adapter where it spoke to, he got the Vectrex. I mean, if any system came out, he got it. And my parents couldn't afford that. So, I got to play all that stuff at his house. We were close friends at the time. And I would go over and spend the night, and him and I would play video games on the weekends, and it was fun. So, when I turned 18, I ended up getting married. I was married, that was my first wife, my ex-wife. And her and I, well, we were together in this small little apartment. It was the first apartment I ever had. And I worked at an Italian restaurant. And there was a young guy there that had a Nintendo, the 8-bit original. And he asked me if I wanted to borrow it for, a week or two. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So he gave it to me with Mario and, I don't know, Duck Hunt or whatever. And I brought it home and I hooked it up and I fell in love with that machine. I was like, I've got to get one of these. So eventually I was able to get one. I paid, I think it was $100 for the first one I had. And I bought, the first game I bought was Godzilla, King of the Monsters. A funny story, I actually beat that. I actually beat it with no codes because there wasn't Game Genies then when it came out. Then we ended up getting Batman, the video game, and all sorts of stuff. But as time went on, the games I bought were getting harder and harder, and it's like, I can't beat these stupid games. So I started getting tired of it. But then the Game Genie came out, and that changed everything for me, my whole outlook on gaming. No codes, no play. That was my attitude. And I bought the Game Genie. And I remember when I first had it, I sat up all night playing my video games. And every, hour or so, I'd run into bed and my ex-wife was sleeping, and I'm like, come out here, you gotta see this, I just beat this game, I beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, number 2. Come look at this, and she'd come out all half asleep, and oh, that's great, you know. So shortly after that, I got a Sega Genesis. And the reason I got a Sega Genesis was because my ex-wife's brother, he bought a Super Nintendo, and he would bring that over on the weekends. So we figured, why don't I get the Sega Genesis so we would have more systems to play. We would have the NES, the Super NES, and the Genesis. So that gave us 3 systems with a variety of games to play. Now, I like the Sega Genesis a lot. It came with Sonic, the first one, and eventually I bought Sonic 2, and I just started getting different games. I wanted to get my own Super NES, so I didn't have to wait for the weekend to play, so I eventually bought my own Super Nintendo, which, that's one of my favorite systems of all time. I just love the side-scrolling beat-em-up games and stuff like that, the shoot-em-ups, and I eventually got the Game Genie for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, so that was good. You know, I had it for that too. And following that, I eventually got the Sony PlayStation, the first one. Then I got the Nintendo 64. Then the Dreamcast came out. Got that. Had to have that, right? PS2. Original Xbox. GameCube. Oh man, I just went down the list. Every time something new came out, I would get deals on them, or if somebody was selling one. I had multiple copies of different consoles at one point. I mean, because where I worked, they had electronics that would come back and they would repair them, and then nobody would want them, so they'd sell them to me for like $25 just to get rid of them. I mean, I had a collection of Dreamcast. I had a few of them. Friend of mine at work, he had given me 2 Sega Saturns. So I had 2 of those, and of course I got an Action Replay for that. And again, I got all the cheat devices. All of them. I got them all for all the consoles that allowed them. Again, Game Genie, Game Shark, what else was there? Action Replay, Code Breaker, all these things. I got all of them. Let's see, I also, moving forward, I got the Wii, eventually got the Wii U, the Switch recently, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, I mean, all these systems. And it started to take up so much room. And I went through a phase a couple of years ago where I started selling off a lot of my stuff, and now I regret it. I will admit, I regret it. But I would have liked to have kept it for collectability. But I sold all that stuff, and I started doing a lot of gaming on my PC. And I eventually replaced that PC with a much better one last year, in February, I think. So the PC I have now, we had spent a few bucks on it actually, and we've upgraded it, and it's pretty powerful, you know. So I play a lot of my classic games on there. I've got a couple of arcade machine things, little small ones. Super Retrocade, do a lot of stuff on that. So I have a lot of games. A lot of them are physical, but most of them are on my PC. And it's easier to just sit in front of one designated machine and play all the games that you want to play. So that's fun, and that's one of the reasons I like PC gaming so much. PC Master Race, right? But I consider myself a total gamer where I play console and PC Master Race. I don't just stick to one thing. But I gotta be honest, I lean more towards the PC, because with PC games, you can cheat to your heart's content. I mean, not only do emulators have built-in cheats, but if you get a PC game, you can download what's called a trainer. A lot of people make these trainers. You can find them at Cheat Happens. You pay a subscription for that. A friend of mine, he does WeMod. He does that. So you can download trainers and run them in the background, and you can cheat to whatever they made the trainer for. Invincibility, Mega Jump, all this stuff, Infinite Lives. But I'm a very big advocate for cheat devices and codes, and I just think it enhances the game so much. It makes it, easy to play, so you're not sitting there all stressed out and mad. You can actually sit and enjoy the game for what it is. And have fun. So that's how I got to where I am with gaming. Of course, over the years, I've gotten a plethora of handheld devices. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. Trying to think what else I got. Well, maybe a DS, 3DS. Couple things from China. Little emulator handhelds. So, and I got a lot of cheat codes and devices for those things too. Excuse me. So, again, that's how I arrived to where I am in gaming today. I really enjoy the gaming community that's out there. It's nice to be able to reach out to fellow YouTubers who game, watch their videos, and get some hints and find out about games you never knew. With the internet, you can find out so much stuff. Now, when I was a kid, there was no internet. It didn't exist. The only thing you had to go by was magazines. You'd pick up Nintendo Power or GamePro magazine or Electronic Gaming Monthly or what have you, and you'd have to scour it to see what new games were coming out and what codes there were, if there were codes or whatnot. And that's why I liked GamePro the most, because they had a little section each month for cheat codes or whatever you had. So there was magazines that I used to buy too, There was, they had a PlayStation magazine, they had an Xbox, original Xbox magazine. And of course, I would always buy strategy guides. I had a lot more strategy guides than I do now. I sold the strategy guides that I did not have the game for anymore. I would sell some games to trade them in to buy newer games. And so I got rid of all the strategy guides, for the most part, that I didn't have the games for. I kept a couple, and I've got a big banana box full of strategy guides. And let me tell you, that weighs a bazillion tons. Those books, you get one or two, it's fine, but you get a big pile of them, they weigh, and they're heavy. I tell you, if I ever have to move from here, I'm going to get some help. So yeah, there was that too. I would find systems used, all sorts of stuff, used games. My God, I had quite a collection. Now, I'm making it sound like it's immense, but there are YouTubers out there that have these incredible collections. Like they've got all the NES or all the Super Nintendo or all the Atari or whatever. And they have complete collections. And I don't have complete collections anymore. Again, I sold most of my games. I still keep physical ones of PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii U. I still have games like that and a bunch of DS and 3DS games. But as for old stuff like 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. I don't have those anymore because I got rid of the consoles, so I got rid of all the cartridges and stuff. And like I said, I regret it. And if you decide that you're going to sell your collection, you better think very hard. Because looking back, there's not a day that goes by that I don't regret selling like most of my comics or most of my video games or a lot of toys or stuff I used to collect. A few years ago, I was in a hospital a lot, and it didn't look really good for me, so I had decided, let's lighten the load, so if something happens to me, my wife, my wife now, my second wife, my wife won't be stuck having to deal with all this garbage that she would have to deal with if I were to pass away. But I've recovered a lot since then. I'm doing better health-wise. Not the greatest, but doing better than I was then. Because I was being hospitalized almost every year for a while. So I feel like I'm doing better now. And it's like, gee, if I'm not going to be leaving this world too soon, I kind of wish I had held on to that stuff. But that's how it was. But anyways, that's a good little look at how I started gaming and how I got into it. If you've made it to the end of this video, leave me a message on this video. Leave a comment and tell me, kind of how you got started. Or if you've made a video, put a link in it or whatever. I'm curious to see how other fellow YouTubers and folks have started collecting, if their journey was similar to mine or whatnot. And again, I've got a couple of friends. My friend the Dark Comic Nerd, my friend Spice. They're gamers. They play video games a lot too. So it's nice to have friends that we can, we get together and we game like every other Tuesday. Every other Tuesday we get together. We have either my wife cooks or we order pizza or whatnot, and we game the whole night. And it's so fun to have a couple of friends that do that. So I hope you folks watching this have some good friends that you can game with, because it really makes the experience a lot better. Well, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye!